My updated curl routine for the juiciest curls. If you didn't know already, we came out with a brand new curl collection of shampoo and conditioner, and also these are our styling products. This is our thick curl smoothie and the star of the show, the water-based curly styling gel. I'm going to show you what my day 2 curls look like at the end. I'm starting out on freshly washed hair. I actually use 2 shampoos. The first one is K18, a detox shampoo, and basically it gets rid of any buildup on your hair or even buildup from your water. Did you know that there are minerals in your water that can build up in your hair, and it's called hard water? Anyways, the second shampoo I use is actually from our aloe vera collection, and it's super gentle and hydrating. It also has a really good lather. Now that my scalp is all clean, I also like to detangle my hair in the shower with the aloe conditioner. Now that my hair is all prepped, it's time for styling, and I love to part my hair. This is super important if you want really defined curls because you need to get to every curl. Starting out with our curl smoothie on wet hair. Guys, it has to be wet, not damp. I apply a generous amount of the product and then I brush it through a few times, and then I go in with a decent amount of gel. The technique I'm doing right now is called ribbon brushing, and this is what helps clump your curls. You'll notice in day 2 curls that my clumps are still intact, and it's because I did this. See, this is why it's really important to section your hair nicely, because I can get to every section really easily. Another thing to note, if your hair easily gets frizzy and you only use a curl cream, that's because a curl cream only provides you definition for about 24 hours if you're lucky. The gel is what holds your hair in for a number of days. So I like to think of the curl smoothie as more like a primer, and the gel is what locks in the curl smoothie. Without the curl smoothie, the gel isn't good, and without the gel, the curl smoothie doesn't really do anything. They go hand in hand, but that's only if you have wavy or curly hair. For tighter curl types, I do recommend a 2 gel combo because it helps fight against humidity, and I'll insert a clip here on a friend that I did, and I used 2 gels. I used our water-based gel as a kind of like a base gel, and then I used a topper gel called I Create Hold by Innocence, and this is what fights against humidity, and her curls last during the whole week. Yeah, crazy. Now back onto styling. I keep going with the ribbon brushing technique, using the curl smoothie first and then the gel. Later on, you do notice that I get a bit lazy, and instead of doing that, I just mix the curl smoothie in my hand and the gel. Honestly, this is so much easier than just doing it separately, and I can get to each curl very nicely. The brush I'm using is also called, I think it's called the Curly Styling Brush. It's on my website, and it's probably my favorite curl clumping brush. Please remember that this brush is only for curl clumping, and you shouldn't really use it to detangle your hair unless your hair is fine or unless you have a really tight curl pattern, because you don't want the brush to break. I just want you to hear how much water my curls are actually holding. This is called hair hydration, and it commonly refers to how much water your curls are actually holding. So the products we use, the goal of them is to lock in all that water. That's why it's really important to use curl products that work well with water, because the key to definition is water. That's why people say stay away from ingredients like sulfates, because that builds up on your hair, stopping water from getting into the cuticle when you wash your hair. But in saying that, if you do use a product with sulfates in it, just use a detox shampoo once a week. I don't use any of those ingredients, but I still detox my hair once a week because my water is hard, so it contains a lot of minerals. When I get to the front of my hair, I actually like to style it a little bit differently. So instead of brushing my hair down, I like to put the brush behind my hair and brush upwards. Doing this gives me a lot of volume towards the roots. At the end, you'll see that my curls are actually quite heavy because the clumps are decently big. I don't like to remove the clumps. I like it quite defined. So this is what I like to do, and I found that it's so good. And you can see, like, compared to the other side's quite flat, but the other side, that's where all the ridges are at. Using my microfiber towel, I'm just going to scrunch out the excess water because we're prepping our hair to diffuse it. I think diffusing your hair should be a mandatory thing because it literally cuts down drying time by like at least half, and I find that I get the best results when I diffuse. And you'll notice that I don't get any frizz when I diffuse my hair because I use gel, and the gel becomes hard when it comes into contact with heat. The diffuser I'm using is the Dyson diffuser. Yes, it costs an arm, a leg, and a kidney, but this is by far the best diffuser on the market, hands down. So the setting I'm using is medium heat and medium air. I'm hovering for about 10 to 15 minutes until I touch my hair and I feel like there's a bit of a hard cast. That's when I know I can start cupping it and my curls will not get frizzy or they won't get ruined. So this is my hair about 90% dry. I like to air dry the rest. The outside of my hair is actually dry, but the inside where my curls are holding in all that water, I can feel that it's still a bit wet. So when I squish my curls, there's still a little bit of water coming out. So I just let that air dry because you don't need to diffuse it anymore. Now for the final reveal, this is my day 2 curls. Guys, I slept on this hair and look how juicy and defined it still is. This is why it's so important to curl clump, because do you see the curl clumps are all intact, but there are a few pieces where I didn't actually curl clump because I want to show you guys how it can get frizzy. There's a frizz in all its glory. It's honestly not bad. Like, you can just spray it down with some water. I was meant to curl clump it with these other curls, but honestly, like, I can just rock it like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and see you in the next one.